This is, again, standard mode, so we are going to get to see the usual Hyrule Castle sequence to start things off. It does also mean that our runners are going to get some manner of weapon in the first few chests. Bombs do count, but that is not necessarily the drop. If it were going to be bombs, it would be the 10 drop. As all our runners heading down to visit Uncle. Zero Rush, the first to find the bow. And some free arrows to go with it. So that's a good supply and a good item to get early. Now, with this being standard mode, you end up with the beginning is pretty execution heavy, since everyone is kind of funneled through the same route. But once we get through, we get back to the sanctuary. That's when things are really going to start to open up.
Our starting chest from Link's house also did give us the bombs that we need for the back of escape and the cane of Samaria from our first chest. And
yeah, it's a very nice find. Doesn't get them much progression, but does get them a lot of value later in the game. And we have the sewer key down there in the boomerang chest. We are guaranteed to find that at some point, because obviously we have to get through that door. No guarantee that we'll find the lamp. In standard mode, you get that lamp light cone regardless, but once you're done with the opening sequence, you have to go find that to get your light again.
Zelda's chest only holding us with 20 rupees.
Hitsu on an medium, giving us a nice, pretty close sync. Again, the opening sequence, pretty straightforward, pretty execution heavy, so our runners are going to be pretty close. And of course, these are just 4 of our runners. These daily races are open to basically anybody, and we do have over 30 entrants this evening. Zero's going to be our first into the sewers. Hits the Yananitium right on his tail. Of course, the good part of getting those 3 bombs means you don't have to sit around and farm for bombs off of those snakes.
And there's the lamp.
Well, so much for dark rooms.
What a shame. Would love to see it.
Yeah, we haven't even seen our runners come anywhere close to running out of arrows either. That's the one small risk with a start like this.
And the back of escape giving us both the hook shot and the flip.
So okay, our runners have a few options for where to head after this. Just a couple. Yep, Zero Rush hits the Sanctuary chest at a 550. Respectable time.
A good time right there. I caught a red pendant on Hera and a crystal on Eastern. Didn't catch what Desert was.
Desert was one of the regular crystals, Eastern being one of our 5-6 that will get you the Pyramid Fairy. And already we're seeing a bit of divergence thanks to the items our runners found. Zelga noticed a lamp and a bow and it's like, we're going straight to Eastern.
Etienne missed checking a lumberjack tree to see if that's needed. Wait. Oh, getting your blue rupees from.
Yeah, you generally hope those crabs give you bombs or maybe full magic, maybe a couple hearts if you're desperate. But early game you do want that little bit of money, so you'll take a $5.
Yeah. And lumberjack tree is only a red rupee this time around, so you won't see that.
Well, looks like the Eastern play is maybe the correct one. We're finding the gloves in there. But of course, Kakariko is a smart enough play. There are a lot of items to be had.
Early big key in Eastern, too.
Yeah, that's awfully convenient. Unfortunately, Zelga found the map, so we won't have the lucky case of map or compass behind the dark room and then the other one on the boss, and you just end up knowing that you don't have to check those.
Yeah, sucks to be honest.
And our red meringue off the bottle vendor.
Blue boomerang is better.
And another bottle from the chicken coop.
At least we don't have to double dip a Kakariko.
Yeah, we'll clear out virtually everything. We don't have magic bat naturally, but well, that and the flute we'll have to come back for, but looks like all our runners besides Zelga just going and doing what would be really the standard loop from Sanctuary. Nothing of interest in the library. And that's something of interest at the race game, though.
Ooh, that is nice. Quake on race game. That's going to be an early pickup there also.
Now, of course, we don't actually know if that's useful yet. We are a long ways from getting to Mire, and a decent ways off of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's always good to have just in case, so you don't have to spend time looking for it.
Absolutely. And now I expect a few Lake Hylia plays, but no, Zero Rush is going to make the Eastern play. They're all going to make the Eastern play. They're making a liar of me yet.
The Eastern play right now isn't really a bad play since you get the gloves from Sir Hostle's closet.
Very true, and you also end up getting a crystal, which is, pretty important.
Yeah, also that.
But no, EDM
It's him
is...
going down the South Shore.
Yeah, they'll give us a peek at the dam and Mini Moldorm. Maybe going as far as Ice
Yeah.
Rock Cave, we'll see.
And possibly Hobo and Waterfall Cave, because we have the flippers.
Yeah, we don't yet have the money for Zora, though. So that's going to be lingering off in a corner. Yeah, only 12 minutes in, Zelga already has the first crystal.
Only 40 rupees from the dam and Tiger Leaf from the chest inside and from water.
That hookshot proving a very helpful offensive weapon at the moment. The runner's not yet finding any swords, but not yet needing them.
Nothing really worthwhile from Mini Moldorm Cave except for that heart container.
A potentially useful item on the Hylia Island.
And it's
We'll
the powder.
see. I mean, that's a nice utility to have, but it is basically a fetch quest. And that is a lucky 300 rupee drop over in the waterfall. Now we can check Zora. And the fish gives us a book.
Ooh, the Book of Medora. That's good access for desert.
Yep, gets us in there logically, gets us the tablets once we have a Master Sword. And it's always nice to have a new book, Reading is fundamental and all that.
Yeah, that's true. Can also give us a pedestal check.
Yes, we can still hold out hope for the seat to be somewhat rude.
Yes.
So Hitsuyan getting their first crystal as well. Zero Rush, pretty close to the same. And our first sword off the hobo.
First sword from Hobo. That's good at 15 minutes.
So that pretty much takes care of all of our flipper locked items at this point. We'll have to wait until we get Dark World access for those to get us anything further. And we are still 2 items away. We need the Moon Pearl, and then we need either another glove or the hammer. Or we can have an Agaseed.
Ice Rod Cave holding the Moon Pearl.
That's 1 item down.
So now either the hammer or the Titan gloves. Titans.
Yeah, but with our runners having access to the Power Glove, that does mean that we can get up to Death Mountain, which it looks like Zero Rush is going to go do. There's plenty of chests and locations up there that they can access, so there's a decent chance we'll find the next thing up there.
Green Pendant is in Thieves Town.
Oh, you gotta love Pendant Thieves Town. I feel like every time I get it, there ends up being progression in there, and you really don't want to bother, but you gotta. Zero Rush heading into Spec Rock, getting the Piece of Heart, but perhaps more importantly, the hint. A unique item in Ganon's Tower. So there's at least 1 unique item we don't actually need. Now that could be something like the Bug Net, or the Silvers,
Or the single arrow.
or the Single Arrow. That is a unique item. Zelga dipping off of... Oh, nope. Just using a save quit as a little bit of a warp. Chad asking, what is considered a unique item? It is quite literally anything that there is only 1 of in the game. So that's basically everything that we track except swords, shields, armor, and gloves. And bottles. So something like the hammer that we just found in Paradox Cave. That's a unique item.
Ooh, hammer and paradox, yes. Someone in chat did say boots, maybe could be that unique item in Ganon's tower.
Could be. Could end up with a bootsless seed or a largely bootsless seed. And Zero is going to go take a peek at Hera, having picked up the hammer.
Wouldn't blame, because you could get a full, you could clear it fully depending on what items are already in.
Yep, we have a fire source. We have weaponry of any sort. And we have 2 items in here overall. A unique item in Western Wing of Swamp. Well then. That might push our runners to actually do left side swamp for once. At least it'll push Zero Rush too. Don't know if any of our other runners are going to bother with this Hera dip. It is a pendant after all.
Zell gonna make it up on this hint. A unique item in plain sight. Ooh, that's an interesting one there.
Yeah, that could be referring to the powder that was on the Hylia Island, but there are several locations that count as plain sight.
We have the torch in desert, torch in Ganon's tower, and we do have desert ledge also.
Yep, as well as, I believe, the mushroom spot in the Lost Woods is considered one. On top of Spec Rock, there's a handful of overlapping locations. Makes the hints nice to have, but not always a giveaway. And Zero Rush just goes ahead and takes care of Moldorm. Might as well.
Hits, checking out Hype Cave, 5 items. Is it gonna be hype this time?
We get 5 rupees, 25 rupees, 125 rupees, a piece of heart, and some bombs.
On a scale of 1 to hype, I would give a 5.5.
It's Kiki money. It's a little bit of extra protection. I'm more on a 2. It's got some use, but it's not that great. We're starting to see a desert dip from Idiom. Hitsuyan has entered the Dark World, giving us more of that tour. That looks like a rod on the pyramid.
And it's the fire rod.
So again, that could be the unique item in plain sight. Or it could be the powder.
Or something else. Bootslot Desert.
So this is going to be a boots required seed. Desert is required. We also know this is a mirror locked seed since Swamp Palace is required.
It's just taking a dip into Pod.
That makes sense. It is a crystal dungeon. It is completable. And it is a good density of items.
Let's just see if we'll get some progression out of this.
Well, it's not like it mattered, but we at least know it's not bow locked. Chat asking where the Moon Pearl was. If you watch Zero Rush's view, we're about to see. That's one of those just distant enough locations that runners do prefer to avoid if they can. But can't avoid it this time.
Zero is about to get his sword.
Yeah, it's worth noticing Hitsuyan and Zelga still haven't grabbed any.
Zelga is getting the Moon Pearl now, though.
Yeah, they are on a solid route to go visit the hobo, then head up to Zora. They got the money for it. And at that point, I think you start making the move into Dark World.
And the Titan's Medicine Pod and the mirror.
Well, I guess that is progression.
That does help us with the blacksmith once we go over to Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, this is actually really nice routing from Hitsuyan, coming over here before going to the village. Means they'll be able to do a lot more of that, that region a lot faster.
Zero getting their book, and Zelda just got.
Yep, Zero making the move directly to the Dark World. Giving us the map check. Again, Swamp Palace is our other 5/6 crystal. Thieves Town we knew was the green pendant, and Misery Mire is our final pendant.
Zelda also making the play into the Dark World.
And both of them doing so in a way that puts them right at the less than hype cave.
The money cave this time.
Well, I suppose, but it's not even a huge amount of money. It's a reasonable return on investment. You get your bombs back at least.
Yeah, that's true. With 2 extra.
Hitzion and Edium both taking a death. Not sure if Hitsuyon's was intentional, considering they have the mirror. They don't really need to death warp through dungeons anymore.
Zero is making the play up to the pyramid ledge to check what's on there. He's gonna be surprised from this. The fire rod.
It's a smart move. And yes, chat does have a good point. Even if you can mirror out instead of death warping will reset your health. So there is still value in that on occasion. Eventually our runners will have so much health that it doesn't make sense to do and would actually be rather difficult. But for now, if it's the good strat, do the good strat. So yeah, everyone is making the pod play as you would expect, and turns out is the right move.
Since you do get the Titan's mitts and the mirror.
Yeah, those are going to be just a little bit required. With Misery Mire being a pendant, the flute might not be required though. So we might actually see a fluteless seed. We see a Moldorm fall from Edium. Always sad. Itzion doesn't have the silvers to make Helmasaur completely trivial, but still a pretty straightforward fight.
It is a bit better to use with your bow than having hammer swings.
Yeah, anything that gives you that little bit of distance. So with that Titan's Mitt and the hammer, maybe it's a Turtle Rock Peak? Certainly a Dark Death Mountain Peak.
And maybe also a Shekin Hookshot Cave, since that's a full go.
Absolutely, that is a good number of items. But first, a walk up the Super Bunny Cave. It's a simple cave, but it's a personal favorite of mine.
Actually, I'm now stepping into the dark world.
Yeah, we'll see if they make the same pod move or if they go over to the village. I think the pod
But
move
first,
is...
you have to stop at Hype Cave.
I mean, yes, if you don't know what's in there. So far, Hookshot Cave isn't paying out very well either. Nope, just a bit of money.
And there was a Turtle Rock check. I didn't see what the medallion was for.
It looked like it was Bombos. It definitely was not Quake.
Still have one more chance. But that might not happen since Misery Mire is appended.
And asking in chat about our runners' respective sprites. I believe, yes, that is traditional Link, Linkle, a Fox, and Phoenix Wright. Because in Link to the Past Randomizer, you just get a lot of options. And after a while, you'll stop asking, why is Phoenix Wright in a Zelda game? Just don't ask questions.
I stopped asking that a long time ago when I saw Homer Simpson.
I will say I'm a little sad that there is an option to play as Bunny Link as your main sprite, but the Dark World sprite for Bunny Link isn't normal Link. It's just like more Bunny. But we have Hitsuyon making the dip into Swamp Palace. Again, that's a 5/6 crystal. It's accessible. Might as well give it a go. And there's a sword somewhere in Thieves Town. Hitsuyon could go for one of those because they're still lacking in any. Have not gone and visited the hobo at all. Zero Rush taking sword strats on Helmasaur. Zelda preferring the bow. And both of them get through with minimal trouble. So I don't remember if Hitsuyon... I believe Hitsuyon saw the hint about left side swamp. So they will probably head in that direction. We did already find one unique item in Swamp. It was the bug net. but that wouldn't be what the hint would lead them towards. And Idiom getting their Titan's Mitts and their mirror. Zero Rush and Zelga both heading on into Swamp, right behind Hitzion. Yep, this is a painfully slow but likely required play into the left side of Swamp.
The mushroom as our unique item.
Well, that's unfortunate. That is a fetch quest, and we have no idea if that will pay off.
And we also know where the powder is located.
That is true, and the powder is currently available since our runners now have flippers and the mirror. So that does put Magic Bat in logic. They could go grab that powder and do that, or they could use fake powder since they have the mushroom. But no matter what, that's a one-off kind of look. So I don't think we're going to be seeing any runners prioritize that too heavily. Zero Rush making good use of the bad boomerang. Hitzion finds a big key. Don't know if they're gonna go back for the chest. Swamp and Skull Woods. Those two dungeons, you don't actually need the big key to complete the dungeon. Zero Rush in a bit of a spot. And Hitzion, completely lacking in sword, has to do the good old-fashioned menu boss. But our other runners only have fighter swords, so they're actually going to have to do the same thing.
It's time for Paw Simulator 2019.
It's real high-stakes pause buffering action. It's actually not pause buffering, it is half to the menu. Now, I'm sure Hitsuyan is really hoping that Argus drops any kind of item, even if it's junk, because that will show that the big chest contains the map. The big chest contains the map.
Big chest does contain the map.
It's always nice to be able to leave a dungeon and not have to worry about, is that one chest that I left behind going to be valuable? No, it's a map. This isn't Key Sanity.
Because Hitsunen did complete Swamp, Pyramid Fairy is now open.
Yeah, this is a smart move. We haven't seen a hint to know how valuable this will be, but either way, it's right there. It's available early.
Zero and Zelga now getting into their Argus fights.
Yeah, Zero preferring the spin strats, which are viable, but at this stage, I would almost rather the hammer strats. Two bottles in the pyramid. Unfortunately, the return on investment for tossing a bottle in at the Pyramid Fairy is just a B. Zero Rush dipping back into Swamp, going to check that big chest. I suppose they didn't count items, so gonna end up being a little disappointed.
Hitch is now getting their sword. While it looks like Zelga is going over to Stumpy, then over to Village of Outcat.
Yeah, there's a nice little curve to take here. Visit Stumpy, get your ether. Go hit the South of Grove cave with that mirror. Then go do Village of Outcasts from the south to the north. Itsuyan instead heading up to redeem the mushroom. Probably visit Catfish on the way. Zero Rush just dipping straight into ice.
Zero's doing ice because you have the ability to start dipping because you have fire.
Yeah, you've actually got everything you need. The one thing you're lacking is a really good sword for the Cold Stare fight.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that hints that a unique item requires the hammer.
That is true. That could, in theory, be referring to the same mushroom we saw already. Because anything in Swamp past the first two chests is considered hammer-locked.
That's true, but also could be referring to hammer pegs.
It very well could be. I suspect we'll see Zelga hit those up relatively soon, though, so we will get our answer.
And Catfish today just spreading the love.
Aw, we love you too, grumpy old fish. Actually, when you phrase it like that, it makes it sound like you don't love him. Like, just calling him a grumpy old fish.
And on Compass and some Cass is Firelocked and Maya.
So that's another piece of the dungeon that we don't have to worry about.
If we have to worry about it because of the pedestal.
Very true. Our blacksmiths are pyrotechnics on this run.
And Zelga's gonna be doing the fake powder.
Yep, you gotta run your magic all the way down. Try to use cane, swap it over to mushroom. Game gets confused, have a bat.
And for this, have some bombs.
And we did say that there's a unique item in the Village of Outcasts. I don't believe those hints include Thieves' Town, so that would be another item of interest.
Someone was mentioning that unique item that requires a hammer, which could be referring to the Thieves' Town big chest, which could also be the boots hint.
Yeah, there are a lot of potential layers in here. And like I said, a pendant Thieves' Town you're always suspicious about. Or there's the boots.
Or there's the boots in the chess game. And bombos and ice.
Very nice to get that before you go and visit Cold Stare, so you don't have to run down your ice rod, or your fire rod rather, taking care of them. Yeah, I just want to point out, Zelgadison is almost 54 minutes into the seed, 4 bosses defeated, still no sword.
I didn't even notice that until you said something. That's impressive right there. But we do know that there is something sharp here in Thieves' Town.
But of course, where is that something sharp? Could be blind. Could have to do a swordless boss fight to get a sword. Fortunately, Cane of Samaria means our runners can take care of blind regardless.
And the hammer.
And the hammer. So Zero Rush taking on Cold Stare. Gonna use some... yeah, go with the Fire Rod. It's a bit easier compared to your spin strats. Or hammer strats.
It's looking like the sword in Thieves' Town is either on the big chest, on blind, or in the set, or in the maiden cell.
How fitting that Cold Stare is holding the ice rod. But all the information that we have so far does make Pedestal seem rather unlikely. We have Ice Rod, Boots, Powder. Powder's not even required, thanks to Magic Bat. We should not need the flute. We might not need the flute. At this point, I would say Pedestal is probably dead. I certainly can't think of any scenario where there would be something necessary there. And Zelga is tripping out. Now, I'm going to be honest, I've seen that happen on the blind fight before. I don't know what you do to cause it, but I do know that that blind fight gets you the blue mail. There's another sword, so our runners will be up to tempered by the time... not necessarily up to tempered, though. They might decide to skip Thieves Town entirely. So yes, at this point, our runners are... Well, across all our runners, we're in no mode, but there are still a lot of little things that our runners would want before really making the go of it, including maybe, Blue Nick, Silvers, better sword. The Zero Rush is likely to pick up both of those, because they are likely to go through most, if not all, of Thieves Town. Now, Edium is giving us a fresh peek over at Skull Woods. We haven't seen any of this yet. Did make a beeline straight for Mothula. Or what am I saying? Zelga's over there. I believe they both made a beeline straight for Mothula. So that does make 4 crystals for Zelga. Zero Rush also at 4, as well as Hitsuyan, and Edium is working on their 4th. And at this point, with our runners about an hour in and surprisingly close to go mode for this time, we'll, as always, give a mention if you enjoy seeing what our runners are doing and enjoy seeing their display of Link to the Past skill. It's always worth dropping them a follow and checking them out off the restream. And I'll also throw a shout to our trackers this evening, Sindoris and Marty7449. Edium's giving us a ped check. It's half magic. Zero Rush dips out of Thieves Town before fighting blind, so no blue mail there. It does sound like something happened to the Huntress's audio, so we'll be working on getting that fixed rather quick. That's Hitzion and Zero Rush with Skullwoods taken care of.
Zero now getting his 5th pendant from Moth.
Yeah, I suspect Zelga and Edium are both looking for that ice rod.
And
They just have to-
the graveyard ledge, which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, they just have to go work on dungeons and it'll all sort itself out.
And it's just some cash, so we don't need that today.
Oof, Zelga doing just about anything except going into Ice Palace.
Now that we have
Yeah, I
the
believe-
torch, we can get that big key off the torch so we can actually finish off desert.
Yeah, and I believe Zero Rush got the sword out of Thieves Town, but not the Sea House, or one or the other. Either way, rolling with Master Sword and no silvers, you gotta hope you improve one or the other before you go up to Ganon.
Zero with the clean Landmolus fight.
Just absolute chef's kiss. Beautiful. Oh, it seems we have red mail over on the right side of desert.
Pechium is getting the powder from Hylia Island.
And routing that into an Ice Palace check, which is a very good move.
And entry to Turtle Rock was Bombos. So we can get in as long as you dip into the Ice Palace.
Yep, this route works out very nicely, having Turtle Rock be the last dungeon for our runners to do. You can take care of this, go right over to Ganon's Tower. It's the ideal setup. And Hitsion heading into Turtle Rock as well. And yes, that is a shovel, and no, we're not going digging. For some reason, you don't see that approach to the chain chomp room very often. Just use your sword beams. I guess a lot of the time you have taken a hit or two and you don't actually have them. But with this being a rather fast go mode, combined with just how the drops worked out, some of our runners are heading pretty late game with not a lot of health and only a green tunic, so things like that death Hitsuyan just took, not that unlikely. Of course, our runners could have red mail if they explored further. It looks like Zelga is finally going to make the Ice Palace move. That'll get them more of what they're going to need. Zero Rush takes a health refill by way of dying. Zero Rush making great use of those iframes from the switch blocks. We've got Zelga and Idiom making good time with their Ice Palace dips. Zero Rush having to dance around a little cautiously here. Laser Bridge without any kind of invulnerability or a mirror shield is a bit tricky. But our runners, they do have the cape in logic, so in theory they could have just gone through that nice and safe. And that's the other use of a fake powder, is like actually powdering anti-fairies. So now it's time for Master Sword Trinex. Have fun with that. Okay, Hammer Trinex. That's a little more fun. Zero Rush making some impressive plays on the fire and ice heads. And takes out the main body as well, nice and clean. Hitsuyan made a wise play and took the safety door just to be, well, safe. Considering how much those lasers are hitting for, good idea. But Zero Rush is on to Ganon's Tower, so get your big key guesses in chat. There are 22 chests where the big key could be. We'll give you a hookshot cave to buy you a little bit of time. Unfortunately, we're out of tournaments, so we don't have the official bot and the official prizes and all of that. But know that if you guess correctly, you have our warmest congratulations. Now, I've been pulling for a 12 myself as of late, and I'm yet to be right, so all the more reason to keep doing it. So we have an 8 guess from the Huntress, which would be the map room, or the fire snake spinny thing. That's a tempered sword and cane of Burna in the Hope room. Eddie, I'm finally finding those boots. Let's check out 4, 5, 6, and 7. Small key. 20 rupees. Small key. And 50 rupees. So we'll see what route Zero Rush takes from here. Looks like it's going to be a full left.
Here is number 8 with Firebar Room, which is a small key.
So it is a key, just not the one we wanted. So yes, Hitsuyan is going to get bailed out with that sword that's in Ganon's tower. We'll allow them to actually do the Ganon fight. A flute at number 9. Now we can get to Misery Mire.
There's the unique item that was in Ganon's tower. Here is Rando Room with 10, 11, 12, 13.
₹55 and 2 heart containers. It's time to go off and face Ice Armos then. We have Edium up in Thieves Town. Probably going to grab that sword that they know is there. No luck from Bob's chest, so it is indeed an Armos fight. And there it is. And the silvers.
Wow, the silvers and the big key.
Well, that's convenient.
At 1 minute and 20 seconds. seconds. 0 goes up the gauntlet. And what number chest was that for Big Key?
That was number 13, I believe. Or number 14.
$14, correct?
Was it 15? Wait. Am I forgetting one again? Oh no, it was 15. My bad. It is indeed 15. I keep forgetting Bob's chest for some reason.
I hate to say it, but no one had guessed 15.
Yeah, we had a couple 14s. But nobody hit it on the nose. Yeah, I'm not sure what Edium is looking for, honestly. At this
Edium
stage.
might be looking for the silvers?
Potentially. Maybe they were looking for that other sword. But either way, they should be in go mode, and we should start seeing moves that that work to that effect. Zero Rush with another fake powder. And a fast Moldorm fight. No need to check the ultimate chest, they have everything they need. Let's go do some trigonometry. I guess starting off with a simple lesson, apparently. Three, 1, 2.
And then there we go.
Easy as that. And now it's time for the good old plot flute. We never activated it. It never works in the dark world. Don't ask questions. So
And
really
at 1 minute, 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 11 seconds, Zero goes in to fight Ganon.
And we learn a little bit about cheese. Zelga, or Zero rather, is handling this fight quite well, but again, that is green mail. So that is going to be a wee bit dangerous.
Already on phase 3.
Oh, misses the torch glitch, but I don't think it's gonna matter.
Just one more hit.
And that will do it. Just as soon as Zero Rush gets over the bridge and makes it official, it will be the first of our 4 featured runners to complete the seed. With an official time of 1:26 and 40 seconds, which is first overall for this race as well.
Can we get our GGs in chat? Did it Zero Rush?
And we will see if we can get Zero in for an interview in a few moments. May want to wait until Hitsuyan takes care of Ganon as well. So they're making the drop in at 1:27:36. And we have Zelga making the move to Ganon's tower, having cleared Turtle Rock. Edium heading up to T-Rock as well.
Zelga enters GT with a time of 1 hour 28 minutes and approximately 15 seconds.
And Hission's showing us how dangerous this fight can be. Master Sword, Green Tunic. Gonna need those blue potions for sure.
Takes advantage of the corner spawn though.
Yeah, I think that was 2 bats hitting in quick succession, and that's 8 hearts knocked off. Taking advantage of that blue cane that we found in GT. Getting things over to phase 3. And as Hitsuyan wraps it up, we have Zero Rush here in the chat. Zero, GG, congrats on winning the race.
GG.
Hello, sorry, I think my headset wasn't set up right. Can you hear me?
Can hear you just fine.
Yep.
Yeah, good work on that Green Tunic Ganon fight. Looks like we have Hitsuyan just about done as well.
I don't think I can hear you guys off. Hold on 1 second. Let me rejoin.
Audio difficulties.
Hitsuyan ends with an official time of 1 hour 30 minutes and 23 seconds.
Yep, that puts them in 3rd place overall. Salty Fry sneaking in for a 2nd place with a 1:29:22.
Hello, I'm back. I can hear you now.
Hooray!
Alright.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. GG again. And congrats on making a green tunic Ganon fight look easy.
Yeah, I mean, tempered in silvers, so it wasn't too bad. Plenty of leeway there.
Yeah, everyone was running around for different swords throughout the run. Number of people also going swordless for quite some time.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, the Thieves Town hint was pretty nice. It sucked that it was so deep in the dungeon, but it's better to just the one you know is there than risk it, I think. And then luckily tempered was in GT anyway.
Yeah, I skipped that one, unfortunately.
I believe you also skipped the other one that was in the Village of Outcasts.
Oh no.
There were,
C-shaped house.
wow. Yeah, I got the boots, and I was like, well, I'm done. Go get my sword.
It's the same.
That's unfortunate. That would have saved a couple minutes.
But after that, I only checked the front of Thieves, and then I said, oh no, in GT are probably 2 swords. But lucky that the silvers was there. I already bought 4 blue goes.
Hopefully nobody missed those silvers. It's really easy to just mirror out immediately.
You might not want to look at Zelga's restream then, as they have done precisely that.
Oh no.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, I stopped trying to... I stopped doing that because I've been punished by that before. Like, I don't even skip Moldorm anymore if I don't have silvers or tempered. It's just not really worth it to potentially miss that for 5 seconds of time stamp.
I'm amazed how many times I've had silvers in that Moldorm chest. It's the last possible place you could look, and there they are. But hey, with Tempered Sword, doing Silverless Ganon is not nearly as bad as trying to do it Master Sword. So,
Yeah. Master Sword is more annoying than anything. Once you get to phase 4, it's pretty easy. It's just long. But Tempered makes that the first 2 phases much more survivable. This is an interesting seat, though. I
yeah.
missed boots for like 30 minutes, but probably worked out for me in the end because I got to skip literally everything else. Although full clearing swamp did feel good.
Yeah, there are a lot of locations that, in my head, are pretty obvious. You know, go check these once you have the ability because there's a lot of density, there's a lot of stuff. And a lot of people held off on those because you had such strong cues in other directions. Like a number of people went and took care of Eastern before even setting foot in Kakariko.
Yeah, I could see that. Some people will do that just because if Eastern has like a bottle or a flute or something, you kind of save yourself a back. I'm just glad I didn't go to South Shore right away, because I wouldn't have had enough money for Zora, even with that 300 chest, and probably would have missed the book forever. Full cleared the game.
Yeah. One of the few times that fish gives us something of real value.
Escape was fun though. All but one item were progression.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Bow, hookshot, red aim, and lantern.
And I mean, Link's house gave you bombs.
Yeah, that was nice too. I think the only chest that was worthless was the heart piece out of Sanctuary, something like that.
Yeah, but with how few heart containers anyone found throughout this run. You know, every one of those can help.
Did get a red potion though, that was good. I used mine in the swamp because I was getting knocked around. Swamp is surprisingly annoying with green tunic and no boots.
Yeah, it's not a lot of difficult enemies, but just a lot of enemies.
Yeah, literally everything is in your way.
Zelga is now approaching it. Trigonometry with Aga 2.
As they take care of that, a quick update on our overall race standings. We have Gloin, who finished in 4th place, 1 hour, 32 minutes, 10 seconds. Aussie 101 with a 1:33.46. Farame, I always get their name wrong, 6th place, 1:34.04. Glan with a 1:34.24. And Big Dunka in 8th place with 1:36.31. So Zelga making the drop in, get through a few pretty typical phases, and then we get to see a silverless fight.
With Tempered Sword, it won't be as bad as if you had Master Sword.
Yeah, and Red Mail also makes it much more comfortable. I'm not super surprised that Zero Rush and Hitsuyan, neither of you got all the way up to Red Mail or even got Blue Mail. They were both close to the route, but by the time you were at those points, you're in go mode.
Yeah, it would have been nice to find at least Blue Mail, but I mean, if it's out of the way, then that's fine too. As long as you have some safeties. I realized that I forgot to get powder off of Lake Hylia Island. That was kind of annoying for a while, but I had the mushroom at least.
Yeah, you did execute those fake powders very, very well. Oh, Zelga mistiming that one swing just a little bit. It is a slightly precise window, but doing the spins makes it a little more flexible. Still the sort of thing that you probably want to practice. And that will do it for Zelga. Assuming they don't dash off the platform.
Whoa, hold on.
You know what? Zelga wins for style.
Zelga wins.
But officially, Zelga placed 10th place with an official time of 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 44 seconds. Now, as we have Edium making the hunt for the big key and the silvers, we'll see if we can get Zelga in for a little bit of post-run chatter.
GG's to you, Zelga.
Hey, GG, thank you.
So, if nothing else, you clearly won on style between Acid Blind and the Moonwalk.
Well, those are about the only two things that went right in this, to be honest, so I'll take what I can get.
Well, I mean, getting yourself up to red mail certainly made some of the late game parts a little more comfortable.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I kind of felt like the play was Ice Palace really early, but then I got the hint for there was a sword in Thieves Town, which led me up there because I still needed that for the medallions and for Skull Woods. So I just never went to Ice Palace until it was way too late, and I just did a ton of overworld stuff in the middle. So I felt like it was the play, I just didn't believe.
I mean, I know I will put off Ice Palace for a little while just because it is a little annoying of a dungeon.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to be able to full clear it. I mean, not full clear it. It's always nice to be able to just go mode it. I just saw Idiom pick up the silver arrows, which of course I did not get.
Yeah, we were all just, you know, wincing over when we saw you mirror out. It was a perfectly sensible move. It's just not. You're right there.
Yeah, again, just this was not exactly a perfect feed for me. The Ganon fight was pretty rough, so I mean, I'll take what I can get. This was still enjoyable. It was a nice seed overall. I just didn't play up to what I hoped to do.
Well, again, if nothing else, you definitely gave our viewers a bit of a show.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you.
Yes, we do have Idiom making the climb up the gauntlet. Little low on health, but also has the red mail, so shouldn't be too worrying. Also did pick up the powder, so there's an extra safety. And as that's happening, we have Matt7898 taking the 11th place slot, time of 1 hour 43 minutes and 29 seconds, while Shire takes 12th place with a 1:44:23. Again, we did have over 30 runners, I believe, for tonight's race. And with how a lot of these options kind of branched out after a certain point, seeing the wide variance in times, there's definitely a wide variety of routes and decisions being made across all our runners. Now, unfortunately, I don't remember. I think it was Idiom who got bullied by Moldorm a few times in Hera. So this is a chance for revenge.
And there's the revenge.
And it's time for Edium to take their trigonometry test. Ooh, just a double. And there we have it. And I'm going to get picked up by the plot flute and head on down to the Ganon fight. So we're starting to get a cluster of runners finishing up. Cassidy Moen taking 13th, 1 hour 46 minutes and 1 second. R.D. Walsh takes 14th, 146.12, and Alex the Ordinary with 15th with a 147.25. Pulling a pretty textbook fight against Ganon, getting into phase 3. Ooh, getting a little bullied by that fire bat and thus loses the torch glitch. There's 1, 2. Okay, 3, 4. Taking that small window of light to take down Ganon. And through the door with an official time of 1:49:39, putting Edium in 18th place overall. We had D Demolisher 1 in 16th, 149.22, and Rune Spism in 17th with a 149.31. So some very close finishes in there. See if we can get Edium in for a little bit of chat as we round out for the evening. All right, and we do have Edium with us. GG. Nice finish on the run. They're going to be a moment to set up. And as we wait, again, Edium.
GG's.
Yeah, good run.
Good run to all of you.
Wow. 126. I don't know how I got so far behind. I felt like I was, for the first half, I felt like I was going along pretty quickly, and then, I don't know, I got bogged down somewhere.
There were a decent number of red herrings throwing people off what would have been a pretty smooth route.
I guess getting the boots so late didn't help.
Yeah, there was that too. A number of runners going a fair amount of time without swords, or without upgraded ones.
Yeah, that's the only reason I did Thieves Town was because I was worried about, swords, but also I didn't know what the Turtle Rock Medallion was, so I figured I might as well find this sword, and since it was in the back, I decided to full clear the rest of the dungeon anyway. So I don't know if anyone else did that, but that definitely cost a few minutes.
Zelga did as well, because you were both wound up with red mail at the end of it all.
Yeah, this was probably should have been kind of a jet seed. I don't know how I took 149. It should have been faster, but oh well.
Yeah, it happens. I believe you stayed away from Ice Palace a little longer than some of our other runners, which may have contributed.
Oh, I thought I was mostly sticking to crystals, but maybe not. I guess I did Hera as well. That turned up nothing.
Yeah, well, nonetheless, it was a good run and a good show. So thank you, Edium, and all of you for volunteering to run on the restream.
Yep. Thanks for commentating, and thanks to the trackers.
Yeah, I'll echo that. I really appreciate being able to put this on.
And so we'll start wrapping up. We do have actually several more races across the Speed Gaming channels. On the main channel, we have the Mario 3 Randomizer. Speed Gaming 2 has Zelda 1. Speed Gaming 5 also has Zelda 1. And Speed Gaming 3 has the Super Metroid Weekly Race, which is also a randomizer. We like randomizers here.
Yes, we do.
All of those starting in about 5 minutes. So, for our runners, any last words? Any last thoughts about the seed?
I think I need to practice my my low equipment dungeons, because I think that's kind of why I didn't go into Ice Palace right away. I had, I think, 8 or 9 hearts, green mail, fighter sword. If I'd felt a little more confident there, I might have gone into Ice Palace early.
The fighter sword makes your hammer hitbox larger for cold stare and doesn't lag the crap out of the room like Master Sword and Temper do. So I would recommend trying that.
Really?
Yeah, that's cool. I'll have to practice that.
Well, you learn something new every day.
Sword out hammer hitbox is huge. It doesn't really matter too much when you have the bigger swords, but for something like fighter sword, it's pretty great.
Alright, thanks for the tip.
On my end, I got kind of baited by the Hera hint to go into West Side Swamp, which is why I did that immediately after Pod. Otherwise, I probably would have gone almost immediately to Ice Palace, and this would have been a much different.
Yeah, I did that too. And except I forgot what the other item was in the hint. And I couldn't remember if it was the map or like money. So I went back in and got the big chest too, which was that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah. Well, yeah, it looks like that will do it for all of us here. On behalf of the Huntress and our trackers, Sindoras and Marty, I want to thank our runners again for participating. I want to thank all of you for watching. And like I said, we have several more races of all sorts of games to check out after this. So stay tuned and thanks again.